Hi guys, gals, and my non-gender conforming pals. My name is Carrington. Welcome back to another video, or if you are new here, then welcome. I would love if you would hit that subscribe button down below, click the little bell so you're notified of all my future uploads, and let's go ahead and get started. I am so excited for today's video because I finally got my order in the mail and I have the Natasha Denona Love collection. So we have the mini palette, the I Needed a Nude lipstick in Omarosa, and then the cheek and highlighter duo. So if you guys want to see how well these perform, my thoughts on these, then definitely keep on watching. Okay, so my eyes are primed. Whatever I, don't have product-wise, I'll be using for my Shop My Stash. I will link that video down below. But let's get into the Natasha Denona Mini Love Palette. What the insides look like. We have the shades You Are My True Love. So you have You Are My True Love. Love that. Let's do some comparisons with the Big Love palette. So here's the inside of the original Love palette, and here's the inside of the mini. Let's do some swatches with shades I think look similar. So we have, okay, so the shade right here called You is a shimmer. And then the one there's really actually not one that's close to that. Let's see. Maybe Giving. So here's Giving from the Love palette. See, so like the one from the mini is definitely more pink and this one is a lighter pink. Okay, so next is R. And it's like a very light, it's kind, okay, so it's like a white champagne with like a pink shift to it. Maybe Transparent would be one that I would think would be close from the Love palette. And you can't really even see that, but yeah, they're not similar at all. So the Love one is like a champagne with a pink shift, and this one is more like a gold with a pink shift. So next up is the shade My. It's this matte right there. And then the closest matte in the Love is the Trust. And as you can tell, extremely different. This one's a very dark plum, and this is definitely more like a normal purple. Next up is True from the mini palette. Okay, and even compared to this, like this is more like a lavender and this is again like a straight up purple. There honestly is not even a lavender in the big palette. Like there's no lavender at all in there, so there's nothing that even compares. And then last is Love, which is again another shimmer. And this has like a orangish, pink, purple kind of shift to it. I don't know if you can tell right on camera. Maybe the closest in the big palette would maybe be Lifetime. Okay, and again, one that's much deeper, and looking at it in person, it's really just like a gold. There's really no shift to it. So this is extremely different. There's no repeating shade in the mini Love palette as there is from the big Love palette. So as for if you need both, I think that's up to you. How often do you use purple and pinks? Purple and pinks is like honestly my favorite color story. It makes my eyes pop. So for me, I thought it was worth it because I just love the color story. But if you really have like a ton of eyeshadows and you're not going to get a lot of use out of the purple and pink, but you want to have something Natasha Denona, just spend the $25 on this. Don't spend the $65 on this if you're not going to get much use out of it. But if you think you're going to get a lot of use and really want a lot of colors to work with, go with the $65 one instead of the $25. Let's dig into this palette. I'm going to create a look while telling a story of what you should not do to your healthcare workers. Okay, so for this look, I'm going to use this in my transition, this in my outer corner, this on the outer lid, this on the inner lid, and this for the inner corner. All right, that's what we're going to do, so you all know, and let's get ready for some story time. Well, I work for, like in the medical field, okay? And one day I was working, like up front, where people check in for appointments, such as, you know, lab work, x-rays, whatever. Like, I float all over the place, so this isn't the only place that I work at. But anyways, that's where I was working. I was sitting up front, and a couple comes in. Who knows, like, how can I help you? And they said, I was sent over from Dr. Such and Such to have a test done. And so I'm like, oh, okay, what's your name? So they told me their name. I look on my DAR, I don't see anything. I know that this doctor's a surgeon, so I look on all the surgery tabs that we have. Don't see anything there. Look in my drawer in case somebody like faxed over, you know, a lab or an x-ray. There's nothing in my drawer. I'm like, well, it's like 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, well, I don't see anything for you. Give me a minute. Let me call my surgery department. Only because sometimes doctors will send patients over for a, you know, cath procedure, GI procedure, you know, surgery straight from their office. And sometimes they'll just like don't put it on the list. So I call over. And they were all, and the lady that I talked to, the nurse was like, well, this doctor doesn't come in to do surgeries today. They would just be in the office. And I said, okay, thank you. So I hang up the phone and I was like, okay, so I don't have any tests scheduled for you. And they're like, well, the nurse called us yesterday and said to be over here for a test at 8 a.m. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to call the nurse's office. They don't open till 8. I was like, no big deal. Like, if you know, are late for your appointment, like, it doesn't count against you. Like, they'll still get you in. Like, this is an us thing. And they're like, okay. So they go over to like sit down, and I can't do anything till 8. Like, there's nothing I can do. So 8 o'clock comes. I don't actually get to anybody until like 8:05. And so I, you know, give the nurse the information, and she was like, well, yeah, we had called this patient yesterday and told them to go to the ER. And I was like, oh, so do I need to send them down to my ER? And she was like, well, no. And I was like, oh. She was like, well, she was like, no, I have like the results from when I went to the ER yesterday. They don't need any, like they didn't, you know, say anything. So I was like, they went to the ER. So I was like, I don't understand. So I go out and I explained to them, hey, yeah, you know, the nurses has no idea what you're talking about. They said that you went to the ER. I was like, did the ER doctor say anything to you? And unfortunately, being as low down in the totem pole as I am, I can't pull up like doctor's notes or anything like that from the ER or previous visits. They're like, no. And I was like, okay. So I go back to my nurse and I was like, hey, this is what's going on. And she goes, okay, well, let me do some looking into it. So I go out there and I tell them, I was like, hey, my nurse is back there. She's working on it and she will try to figure that out as soon as possible so we can get you going so you can get there. Okay. So then my nurse comes out. And my nurse goes, yeah, I looked in the record and they were at the ER yesterday and they were supposed to come in today for a repeat lab. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't have the order. And she was like, yeah, you'll have to call down to the ER to get the order. I was like, okay. So I went out there and I filled them in. I was like, hey, I'm going to contact the ER if that's okay. Apparently you are supposed to have some labs done this morning. That the ER, told you to come get. And they were like, okay. So I called down to the ER and I get put on hold. And I'm on hold for like 15 minutes. And they were like, had no idea who they were talking about. Finally, a nurse gets on the phone and was like, yeah, I remember this patient from yesterday. I actually gave them the order for the labs. It's in their paperwork. And I said, okay, thanks. And I hang up and I go out there. I said, hey, do you have the paperwork that's with you? The doctor that prescribed this and was on your case isn't here today. And the doctor that's on is kind of busy down there. And, you know, like, you need to have your order. And they were like, well, nobody ever gave us anything. Nobody talked to us while we were in there. Like, they just told us like we were good to go and we left. And so I'm like, so you don't have anything? And they're like, no, they never gave us anything. So I call back down there and I get the nurse that I originally talked to. And I was like, hey, they said that they don't have the paperwork. And the nurse was like, no, I specifically sat there and talked to both of them and told them that this doctor like probably won't be here tomorrow and they need to bring that paperwork. I was like, okay, well, they claim they don't have it. Is there any way the doctor that's on can, you know, just put in a lab order or fax one to me? Like, you know, not a big deal. And she was like, no, because that's not their patient and they're super busy. And so I was like, okay. So I go out there to relay the message down in like their bag that was like wide open because it was like a big bag. And I was like, hey, that right there looks like what they would give you when you discharge from the ER, because I was down in the ER too. And they were like, oh, okay. And so they hand me it and I look through it and there's the order. I was like, yeah, here it is. This is the order. And they were like, oh, thank goodness you found that because I was about ready to call your boss and complain. I was like, what? Yeah, so they were going to call my boss to complain that I was not helping them in a timely fashion. I was like, okay. I was so upset about this. Like, guys, like, don't do that to, like, your healthcare workers that are trying their hardest to, like, get you care. Like, I genuinely promise you, like, we're not trying to make this difficult. Okay, so, I mean, you don't want to wait there, and we don't want you in our waiting area any more than you want to be there. So, just be mindful whenever, you know, you go to a healthcare setting. I know it's stressful. You guys are scared. You guys don't know what's going on all the time. And, you know, doctors will be like, go here, do this. And you're just like, you know, sometimes don't always get like the answers as to like why, but you know, just be a little bit mindful of that. Like, maybe I would get it if I like didn't go up there and like made sure like they were in the loop this whole time. I guess like I could see where that would be like a little bit, you know, frustrating, but like, I don't know. I just went out and like alerted them like every time like something happened. But anyways, how's everyone else doing? What are some terrible work stories you have? I mean, I have tons because I work in healthcare, but I mean, like, you know, like what is, you know, a story that you guys have? Okay, so using this palette was actually really nice and really easy. I haven't done the inner corner yet, but I did experience a little bit of kick up in the pan. It wasn't terrible, but everything has like blended out really well. It's looking really nice. It just all came together super well. I would say, you know, if you were interested in the $25 one, but you weren't sure about the quality, I would say, yeah, the quality is definitely there. I'm loving how this is looking. So if this is what you're interested in, say, go ahead and go and pick that up. I am now going to go do the rest of my face off of camera. And then we'll come back so we can try the cheek duo as well as the lipstick. Okay, so I am back. I have almost all of my face done. Now let's move over into the Natasha Denona Love Cheek Duo Cream Blush and a Highlighter. I thought maybe it might have like a name, but it doesn't. It does have shade names though. So this is what the packaging looks like. That's so cute. It's like pink and it's got like little hearts. I love that. And then here's the inside. It comes with a mirror, and here's the highlighter. It's like a pink gold shift, and then here's the blush. The highlighter is called, nope, nothing. Okay, so the Glow Impact Powder is a pink and golden champagne duochrome. The cream blush is in the shade Pink Coral. So I got my little beauty sponge, and I'm gonna take this on the bottom of my beauty sponge. Okay, that's very nice and pigmented. I did have to kind of go in. Okay, well, that's a lot. I think I went in with too much on the other side, but this side looks much better. Okay. Gotta get them to kind of match. Okay, let me take my foundation brush. See if we can like, yeah, there we go. Kind of tap out the color a little bit. There we go. I only did cream bronzer. I didn't do, you know, like any powders. So next up is the highlighter. Okay, that's what it looks like. I hope it's not gonna be too dark for me, but let's see. Okay, so I kind of have to layer this highlight. Maybe it's like the brush that I'm using. It doesn't really feel like a cream like the blush does. So, I mean, yeah, you can see a little bit of the glow, but definitely have to layer it. And it may be the brush that I'm using. I may need to use a completely and totally like different blush. But like, this is very beautiful. I thought it was going to be too dark for me, but it doesn't look like it's super dark. I can definitely see the gold. I don't really see a lot of like the pink on my cheeks, but that's beautiful. Okay, let me go. So we have one more lip shade. We only have one lip shade, and I've never tried any of Natasha Denona's. This is the I Need a Nude lipstick in Amorosa. Here's like the little packaging. It's so cute. And then here is the color. So, ooh, I like this. I don't know if it's like magnet so much as maybe just slides down smoothly. I don't know. But I'm going to go line my lips, fill this in, and then we'll come back with the final look. Okay, I am back. Here's the completed look. You guys, I am literally loving this whole collection. I love everything about it. The highlight palette definitely like stole my heart, but her lipsticks, they're super comfortable. It looks absolutely stunning on the lips. Easy to use. I love the packaging. This is such like a luxury, elegant packaging. I know her lipsticks are expensive. Like when I looked at the price, I was also a little bit like, wow, for a lipstick, but yes, it's so good, so beautiful. Love this. And then the little Love and Cheek duo. The blush was nice. I do have to be a little bit careful with how much I use, but and the highlight, like I just love how healthy and glowy my skin looks. I would say, you know, if you don't have the money to spend on this, like don't worry, okay? Like it's not a huge deal. But I would say if it's definitely something that you've been thinking about, go purchase this. Like the eye look, beautiful. The lips, beautiful. The highlight and the blush, again, beautiful. Love these products. These are probably gonna go into a Shop My Stash here soon. I keep saying that about like palettes and stuff, but like I'm like, there's just like some good palettes I've been trying out that I'm like, I want to use it. So definitely, you know, thinking about adding this to a Shop My Stash soon. But oh my gosh, you guys, this is so good, so beautiful. A+. All right, everyone, and that is it for today's video. Let me know if you guys have tried out the Love collection, what your products are, what your thoughts are. Let me know if after seeing this video, like you're not interested in it. Are you now more interested in it since I demo these out? Let me know down below. I'm so excited to hear your guys' thoughts. All right, and if you guys liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you have not already. Click the little bell so you know about all my future uploads. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.